Game that was, and what a crucial 3 points as well. Much needed.
Yeah, I think you could sense if we didn't turn it around today that the mood might have changed a little bit. But I think that second half performance was better. It needed a little bit of luck with El Mazouni's equaliser, but ultimately I think on the balance of play we probably created enough just about to win the game, and pleased to see us get the result. That's all that matters in the end.
I mean, deserved, Joe?
I don't think you need to really look at how deserved it was. I think it's just a big win, really important win, and I think, you know, especially the way the game was unfolding. You know, we were sitting there in the second half, still pretty uninspired, you know, in the early stages, and then, do you know what? I think the subs changed. I think it was a real kind of squad performance. I think the subs made a difference. They made an impact. They came on. They seemed up for it. Do you know what I mean? I think Bakinson came on, did well. Josh Koroma came on, run around, did well. Ollie O'Neill. You know, we were surprised to see Aaron Connolly go off, but, you know, credit to Richie. I think those subs changed the game and ultimately got the 3 points secured.
It was an entertaining game, Brendan. We said at half time it had the feeling something was bubbling up, and it didn't really boil over. It was an entertaining 90 minutes, and it feels good to take those 3 points.
Yeah, definitely. And second half, we're seeing great scenes there with Richie and the match winner, Tyreek. I think, like Joe said, I think it was a really improved second half once the substitutes came on, and I think that's a really positive sign in terms of the squad and the depth of squad we've got. But also, just it gives Richie probably more headaches, because I don't think he knew his best team going into today, and I just don't think he'll be much the wiser after today.
It's an interesting one, isn't it, Joe? You've touched on it already, but we're sat in the stands going, why is Connolly coming off? Why is Ballard coming off? And then actually to then see you go and do it without your two star strikers, it feels good.
It does, and I think, you know, it shows the value of the squad. Do you know what I mean? You know, people who may have been written off or may have been, you know, not featured as much as they would have wanted in recent weeks, and they've come on and, like Brendan said, given Richie something to think about, and, you know, obviously contributed today, and that is football. You know, a lot of the time, you know, as much as you've got your idea of who your best players are and what team and what shape you should play, it's not the subs, but they come the finishers these days, don't they? You know, come on and can, you know, really get you over the line, which they have done today. Yeah,
and I think we've spoken a lot about kind of turnarounds in the second half of seasons. We did it last season and to a certain extent the season before, and both times it was kind of a moment sparked it. I think the first season in League One, we were losing to Cheltenham and we got a last minute turnaround there, and then, I mean, last season with Josh Keeley scoring that last minute goal against Oldham, and it just changes the mood a little bit, and I wonder whether today is going to be that result that kind of kick-starts the season. Maybe a little bit fortunate in terms of getting a result, but it's just how you do it, and then it builds confidence, and then you can start playing the way Richie wants you to, because I'm sure Richie will come out and say the performance wasn't exactly how he intended, but at this stage it's about just find those little moments, getting through it, and then you can kick on from there.
You know, how it unfolded last week, Joe, being a goal down to a team who haven't done too well on the road. At points it felt flat, it felt quite pessimistic at times.
Yeah. So
then to actually be able to turn that around with the context of last week as well, it's massive.
Yeah, just hugely important, I think, because, you know, like, no disrespect, but this is a very winnable game today. You know, that wasn't the best Exeter team you'll see on one of the, you know, not one of the better teams in League One. So you need to be winning those games at home, like Brendan said, to just ease the pressure a little bit and pull you, you know, further away from where you don't want to be, near the bottom of the table. So yeah, just a huge result, and I think it's, you know, there'll be smiles on faces, it will lift the mood, everything will be a little bit more positive next week, which it needed to be after, you know, the result last weekend. So yeah, and it's nice to see that, you know, different members of the squad have contributed. You know, it's been a real squad effort, like I said. You know, not the best performance. I don't think that needs to be overanalyzed too much, but it's just about looking forward now.
And of course, welcome to those fans joining us on our YouTube channel on the Orient Live Debrief, released after every match. We're going to be taking a look through the second half action and the key incidents in that game, and we're going to be speaking to Idris El Mazouni very shortly as well. What impressed you about the way they came out in the second half, Brendan? Because it took a while to get going, but what did you make of it?
Yeah, I think up until the equaliser, it wasn't perfect, it wasn't great, but there was a bit more fight about us. I think we got in their faces a little bit more. I was a little bit disappointed about the fact that I think Joe alluded to it at half-time about the fact that we didn't sustain pressure very well. I think it was very much like we'd have a good opportunity, get into a good area, and then just 5 minutes of, oh yeah, and then we try again and get there, where Orient at their best under Richie Wellens kind of go again and again and again and build up, especially in these sorts of games where Exeter was sitting so deep. So it did take that moment from El Mazzuni, but then once the equaliser came, you could kind of see the confidence flood back already. I think we started to believe. I think Exeter obviously affected their confidence, and we came out after the equaliser, and I thought we were good value in terms of creating better opportunities, showing a bit more confidence. I think Ollie O'Neill, although he didn't create a great deal, was someone I was impressed with in terms of the fact that he was just willing to have a go a little bit more and willing to take a man on and do something a little bit different. So yeah, I think up until the equaliser, probably not a great performance, but after that, good to show that spirit and that confidence and see it coming back.
I think like Brendan summarised it well. I think in the second half we just saw a little bit more willingness, a bit more like desire to run, to press, to take someone on. That's where the equaliser comes from. It's pressing. Do you know what I mean? It's just getting to the ball, which is a massive part of the game. We bang on about tactics and formations and how you look with the ball, but a massive part of it is without the ball, and that desire to work hard, to get after the ball, to press, to run beyond, to run like selflessly. And I think there was more of that second half. Absolutely.
Do you think, looking at the second half chances, then Exeter almost invited the way this game finished on a little bit?
Yeah, I think and we've seen that pattern here quite a lot, where teams will come in, they'll sit behind the ball, they'll be dogged, they'll be difficult to break down. As games wear on, gradually they become tired. It's a lot of effort and a lot of work to keep shuffling and keep squeezing and dropping for 90 minutes. And I think Orient started to wear Exeter down a little bit in the second half, as they've done with other teams here. We've seen that quite a few times where in the past, where the first half might be a little bit timid, not too much goal action, and then games open up in the second half when teams that have come to sit back and just soak up pressure start to lose concentration. Get a little bit tired, gaps start appearing, and that's where Orient have taken advantage.
Let's take a look and see how that second half started to unfold, Brendan, because again, similarly to the first half, we did have all the possession and we started creating more chances and asking more questions. And yeah, on the whole, despite going a goal down, a fairly positive performance.
Yeah, definitely. And Richard will be pleased with the response more than anything. But like you say, we didn't create a great deal. Again, set pieces, I actually thought we were quite dangerous today, considering where that's not normally a strength of our game. But I thought we created some good opportunities with there. And I thought Charlie Wellens played the full 90 and had a decent game in there, doing what he does in terms of knitting it all together. But yeah, I don't think we created a massive amount, as shown by the fact that that's the 59th minute, and that's probably our first highlight of the second half. But we did what we had to do today.
We stayed in it, Joe, and knocking on the door. We did leave it fairly late on, I suppose. You'd like to maybe see us do it in a bit of an easier fashion in future games.
Yeah, I think the challenge is trying to, and it's not always easy, but trying to be more dominant and be more offensive and carry more of a goal threat in the first half of games. Really taking the game to teams a little bit more, and it's hard when teams are sat back and they're in quite a deep shape and there's not many spaces. But I think it's an ongoing theme, and I think for Richie that it will be something that he wants to try and solve. How can they pose more of a threat? How can they create more in the first half of games, particularly at home? I'm talking about create more goal scoring opportunities.
For nearly 80 minutes, Brendan, Exeter, albeit they were sitting deep, they defended well. So credit to them in the same regard. We had to show that kind of that never give up attitude.
Yeah, definitely, and they're a side that have won 1-0 away from home twice this season, so they've got it in them to kind of eke out a result, and it looked like it was heading that way. So I think they'll have been probably around the 70th minute mark before the equaliser, pretty content, pretty happy doing what they're doing. Like we said, they did exactly that this time last season when they beat us 1-0 here, and they would probably be thinking, right, we're in this, we're going to eke out a result, it's going to be another 1-0. And I think that equaliser from El Mazouni just rocked them a little bit, and that's all we needed. And that was the invitation we needed to show kind of maybe our truer selves and play some better football.
It did feel like we could have played for a long time and not scored a goal the way Exeter were defending at the 77th minute. And this moment from Idris El Mazouni, pure football. What a great goal this was, Joe.
Yeah,
not the most pleasing on the eye, but it went in.
Not the most glamorous at all, but look, that was the turning point, wasn't it? I think, you know, like we said, it was Idris's desire to go and press, to, you know, see an opportunity there to win it, and then obviously, yeah, I think it's just that goal is just, you know, it's just all about endeavour, really, isn't it? And about that willingness to go and get after the ball and make something happen. And, you know, left-footed shot gets blocked, carries on, gets a bit lucky, and obviously ricochets in the back of the net. But, you know, that was the turning point, and we found a way. From that point forward, we found a way to you know, to go on and win the game and get over the line, which is the important thing.
And sometimes that's the moment you need, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's, you know, sometimes that's something like that can give you a lift. Do you know what I mean? It might be someone winning a tackle in the middle of the pitch. It might be someone going on a run, just to kind of gets everyone going. It's almost like a jolt that just, you know, livens everyone up, and yeah, and it just provided that moment there.
Good, nice to see Idris. He's got a few goals this season, but to spark that, it was actually great pressing from him.
Yeah, that's kind of Idris's biggest strength for me, in terms of he's a very, very good footballer and everything he does, but his biggest strength for me is his ball winning ability, and in that case it was winning us a goal by winning the ball high up the pitch. But most of the time it's deeper in the pitch, and he's winning the ball in kind of the halfway line, midfield type of area. So I think that sums up what Idris is all about. It might not have been going our way. It was, like Joe says, it's not the prettiest performance, but Idris showed that endeavour to get up the pitch and try and win the ball, and he did it brilliantly, and he deserved a little bit of luck he got by getting the rebound.
Actually, though, defensively, we've praised Exeter for their defensive duties for 77 minutes, but then that moment from that Exeter defender, you'd be pretty unhappy as an Exeter fan, or even himself, watching that one back. Sloppy. You know, and I think a rare moment of sloppiness, to be fair, from Exeter. You know, they didn't give much away. They were quite tight, quite compact. Played, you know, quite non-risk football in the most part. But yeah, one moment that obviously didn't quite work out, and we managed to take advantage of it. And then this second goal, I'm looking forward to watching this one back. Brendan, actually a really nicely worked goal.
Yeah, a great goal and a great moment for Tyreek Backinson, who I think has maybe had a tough start to his life in an orange shirt, been in and out the team, but he got his chance again today. And this is a wonderful header from Jack Simpson, just to cushion it into his path. And then the quality and ability to have that composure to just side foot volley it right into the corner. I think Whitworth doesn't move because he's just got absolutely no chance. It's a brilliant finish.
It's a fantastic finish, Joe. He almost just passes it in, just softly caresses it into the opposite side of the goal.
Yeah. Really pleased for him. You know, obviously Brendan said not been the easiest of starts, but really nice finish, really composed, lovely cushion finish. And I think what went perfectly for him was that the keeper was actually blindsided by, I think it might have been Ed Turns or an Exeter defender. So it's a great contact from Tyreek, but yeah, just nestles perfectly, and a lovely moment for him.
Right, we should be ready now to join today's captain Idris El Mazouni over in the West End dugout. Iddy, thank you for joining us. How did it feel to turn that fixture on its head and take all 3 points?
Hello, first of all, all right. It was a great win. Obviously, we had a little setback. They scored a pen. We didn't feel sorry for ourselves. Obviously, I think we should have had 2 pen in the first half. But I like the character from everyone, the subs, the starting 11. I felt that we had 11 leaders, 15 with the one that came on as well. Everyone ran hard, played with a tempo, and then I think we deserve that at the end of the day. So, yeah, it's a good 3 point. Hopefully we can build on that, and then it can be a turning point for us.
And I've got to ask, looking at the first half in isolation, there was a lot of incidents with officiating, a lot of remonstrating. How did it feel? There was a few shouts for penalties. There was question marks over fouls. It was bubbling up a little bit. What was the feeling on the pitch and in the dressing room at half time? Was there a feeling of injustice?
To be fair, it was very positive. I mean, like obviously, as I said, we should have 2 pens. I think, in my opinion. But yeah, we didn't feel sorry for ourselves. The 11 on the pitch, we kept playing. We played with the tempo, and then, as you said, we came second half with more intensity, more good play, and then the sub that came on done unbelievable. So it was a good 3 point, and I think a good game for us in general.
And looking at the Exeter's side's performance, especially defensively, they looked really solid and a team that was hard to break down. If we take a look at your goal now, though, it took a lot of pressing and, as you say, that intensity to try and find a breakthrough. We watch it now. Your press here, that was what led to the goal. How did that feel?
You know how the gaffer want to play. We know how we want to play. We want to play with a high press, with intensity. I think we showed that today, and obviously the first goal showed that. And then I think it was a good goal. Obviously, I should have put it in straight away with my left foot, but it ricocheted to me, and then it went in. Sometimes you have to try to get your luck. So yeah, unbelievable goal, isn't it?
Idris, another goal for you today. Is that something that Richie's asking of you this season to contribute more with goals?
Yeah, to be fair, he always wanted me to get more goals, even for my first 2 seasons. He wanted me to make the box more. Obviously, I'm getting older with a bit more experience, so I feel now I'm starting to understand more the positioning of how to get goals. So sometimes it's not really about fitness; it's probably more about in your head, getting in the right position, and then be positive, and your quality gonna help you score with it.
And then let's just touch very quickly on the match-winning moment. Tyreek Bakinson's very cultured finish, a lovely finish to get all 3 points for us. How big was this? You know, in the context of last week at Wycombe, that was a really disappointing afternoon, but to turn this around and take all 3 points in the end, that is a massive moment, it feels like, isn't it? I think we may have lost connection with Idris. He's currently frozen on our screen, so we'll just watch this goal again and we'll see if we can get him back. It gets better every time you watch it, doesn't it, Brendan?
Yeah, such a cultured strike. He could have quite easily tried to put his laces through that and just try and do that. But to be able to side foot it like that, open your body up and just connect with it so it goes right in the corner of the goal is brilliant composure from a player who probably isn't known for his goal scoring ability.
Well, I'm not sure if we have Idris or not, but thank you for joining us, Idris, if we have lost you for good. Yeah, I think we've lost them. Anyway, we move on. And we look towards Blackpool now then, back-to-back home games. And as we said before the game, let's get on a run. Let's build on this victory.
That's it. You know, it's what we've spoken about, isn't it? And, you know, we hark back to last season and you know, that I think was it Barnsley away? Correct me, Ollie, if I'm wrong? Where that was the turning point. You know, we went on that run and just gathered that momentum and, you know, the team was picking itself and there was just that consistency, not just in results, but performance levels and, you know, like you knew what he was going to get week in, week out from the team and, you know, whatever, you know, it was personnel changing, that level of performance was maintained and I think that's what we really need to find now. So, yeah, need to back up the result this weekend with another good performance and hopefully another win next week.
Blackpool side, who recently sacked Steve Bruce, spent money in the summer, they'll be in a similar position to us really in thinking they don't want to be in the league position that they are.
Yeah, definitely. I think they're a side in transition at the minute. I think they've gone from Steve Bruce to Ian Evatt, which is quite a change in styles in terms of Ian Evatt has quite a defined way of playing. He likes to keep a lot of the ball and play attacking football. So I think it's probably not a terrible time to play them in terms of I think they've got a few injuries and they'll still be trying to figure out Evatt's style of play. And I think it's quite a nice game in terms of the fact where I think we quite like it when teams come to Brisbane Road and try and play football, and I think that's what we'll have next week. So yeah, a good opportunity to follow up on today.
Well, a massive thank you to Joe Woodison and Brendan Pitcher for joining me in the studio this afternoon. Thank you for your support wherever you've been watching from. What a 3 points that was. Keep your eyes peeled on all the socials for the reactions and content following that one. Enjoy the rest of your day and up the O's.